This is a CBS News special report. I'm Norah O'Donnell in Washington. We're coming on the air as President Trump holds a news conference about the coronavirus in the White House Rose Garden, and he is expected to declare a national emergency.
What a crazy year 2020 was, and 2021 isn't shaping up to be a whole lot better, but we do see some good things coming out, basically of cruising possibly returning. Unfortunately, we lost a couple Carnival ships there. We see the Carnival Fantasy was lost in 2020, and it was beached for scrap. We also lost the Carnival Inspiration, the Carnival Imagination, and the Carnival Fascination, as well as many other Carnival brand ships, such as P&O and Holland America Line, and so many other cruise lines have ditched their old ships to try to get liquidity back. So this leaves us with the million-dollar question: is when will cruising actually resume? Will it resume in 2021? Can the cruise line survive 2021 without coming back? Or are we looking more of a 2022 timeframe? Let's explore that. So, will cruising return in 2021? I actually think so. I think 2021 will be the year that we see at least some ships sail. But unfortunately, I don't think that you're going to be rolling out and hearing that jet engine roar to take you to your cruise until at least towards the end of the year. I would say about a time frame, maybe around midsummer, maybe towards the end of summer. I just don't see many cruise lines making a honest effort to get moving before at least the June time frame of getting cruising again. We've seen this over the last couple months. We've been watching the situation. They typically cancel up until about a couple months ahead, and I think that's just to maintain bookings, to keep up liquidity in the company for people that are booking cruises. That may not be the best practice, but this is a business that they're trying to run. So I do think that Carnival has canceled most cruises up to May of 2021 right now. I do foresee a potential extension of that currently. I am an IATA member. I've seen some of the things that are coming out of Carnival, and unfortunately it doesn't look like we're going to get back to sailing at least until maybe the midsummer range. It really just depends upon the vaccine rollout, how well that goes, and whether it is effective. I think one thing that a lot of people are wondering right now is, will I need to wear a mask on board the ship? Unfortunately, I do think that is going to be a thing. Carnival actually did release their requirements during the coronavirus pandemic, which is a positive sign for cruising, yes, but unfortunately, you do have to wear a mask according to these guidelines. I think these guidelines were pulled about 24 hours afterwards, so they may be revising that a little bit. I do know that you won't have to wear a mask up on the Lido deck where social distancing can be monitored. And you won't need to do it anytime you're sitting down to eat. So basically, any public restrictions in most states will apply on the cruise ships, and it doesn't seem to be super strict. Mostly just the indoor areas of the ship is where you'll have to wear that mask. But even with the vaccine rollout, according to at least the U.S. government, we're still going to have to wear masks here. So I honestly don't see the mask requirement going away anytime soon, unfortunately. So yes, I do think that you'll be wearing a mask on board. And I do honestly foresee potentially a vaccine requirement. Most cruise lines haven't adopted that yet, most of the major players, but unfortunately, it does appear that most of them, of the little ones, are going right now to vaccine requirements. I think maybe one of the big ones, can't remember which one it was, has that requirement. So I do think both a mask and vaccine will be required to cruise. Will you be able to leave this ship while it's in port? This is a complicated answer, and I would say it's yes and no. Currently, the current restrictions, at least at Carnival Cruise Line, is that you cannot leave the ship unless you have an excursion booked directly with them. This is unfortunate because the third-party excursion sales places basically will not be able to provide you with cheaper excursions. If this turns out to be the case whenever the terms are finalized in their requirements, I do think it's going to be an advantage for the cruise line, both price-wise and a disadvantage to the local porters. However, it did kind of scare me, and I will warn you that if you do violate any of their policies, such as leaving the excursion to do some free exploring, you can be denied boarding on the ship whenever you come back. So that's sort of a red flag for me. With Carnival's recent announcement of mini cruises, I do expect that their private islands will probably become a pretty huge part of their itineraries in the upcoming year if we do get to cruise here in 2021 in midsummer, at least until everything calms down with the coronavirus and we declare the national emergencies and things gone. So yes, you can get off the ship. However, you may have some difficulties getting back on if they feel that you violated some of their policies. So if I would recommend you getting off was the question, probably not, at least until everything with the pandemic irons itself out, or if perhaps maybe they have some type of vaccine passport that can guarantee your reboarding the ship, because I don't know if I would want to take that risk, especially in another country, not knowing their policies and procedures. If cruising does return, I'd say a majority of people, or at least families, will probably choose to stay on the ship and do kind of a staycation on the ship, which would be completely fine. And I'm sure a lot of us on here would be completely okay with staying on the ship. This is a great question. Will the buffets return on Lido? Some of the most famous things about cruising is the amount of food that you can have on a day-to-day basis and basically gorge yourself till the point that you're sick. Yeah, probably wouldn't recommend that, but hey, it's cruising. We're on vacation, so to each your own. But anyway, will buffets return on cruise ships? I would say yes, but in a modified version. Either you're going to have two scenarios. You're going to have a scenario like some of the other Carnival brands are doing, where you order on your phone and then an employee brings it to your table with your selections. Or you're going to have a scenario where you do hand washing in the first beginning portion of the restaurant, and then you'll be required to wear gloves and masks to go around to the buffets. A lot of different states in the United States are adopting that practice, especially Florida, and it seems to be working, at least for now. So it kind of just depends on what the cruise line finalizes on their rules and regulations for the coronavirus. But yes, I do think that buffets will return. Will unlimited ice cream and dive-in movies return? There's two scenarios here. Yes, the unlimited ice cream will probably return, but I do foresee that there's going to be certain restrictions on the time and availability of that. I don't think it's going to be 24/7, at least initially. At least that's just my personal prediction. We haven't really heard anything specific on those sorts of services, but I would imagine that they will probably have it shut down later in the evening and have certain times that it's open so that they can have a crew member sanitizing the machine and potentially even serving different ice creams, such as we've seen at different McDonald's, where they'll get your Coke for you, that kind of scenario. I do think the unlimited ice cream will be a thing, because that is a famous thing about cruising that pretty much everyone I've ever talked to loves, and that's honestly a selling point for cruises that I sell. is, hey, it's unlimited ice cream. You can go gorge on whatever you want, basically. So yeah, I do think the unlimited ice cream will come back, but with restrictions and things like that. And as far as the dive-in movies, I do think those will come back, but there will be social distancing requirements. And I do think that there'll be capacity issues in the pool. So I think within reason, you may have to do a reservation. I don't know how that'll work, but I do think it will come back eventually. But it may look a little different on how they let people in and out of the pools, and you may have to wait in line and so on. But I do think that most of the modern conveniences and cruise lines are gonna come back, but you may walk on and see a different world, at least for a little bit. But guys, I hope you have enjoyed this video. We haven't made a video in over at least 9 months. And we wanted to take time off and try to figure out a few things with our family. But guys, we're completely ready to come back. And we're going to start making weekly videos just like this, bringing you the news and different developments in cruising while we all wait in this world for cruising to come back. So guys, if you did like this video, give it a big thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe. And also, I'd like to see your questions. What do you have questions about as far as cruising returning in 2021 or 2022? Post your questions below, and I will make another video specifically with your questions in mind, and I will go research and find those things. Remember, guys, I am a Cruise Lines International member. I can get the answers for you, so make sure you drop a comment below, and I will make another video, hopefully next week, with your questions and answering them on this video. But thanks guys for watching, and we'll catch you later. Thanks for watching.